everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about, or rather we're going to be working on our World Chalice deck. Last time we actually removed a bunch of cards that we felt were unnecessary for the deck, or I just wanted to make a big change for the deck itself so that I wouldn't actually have or stick to the exact same playstyle as I always have been. So with that being said, this particular video itself is still going to be a chill session video, but instead I'm going to be considering different cards that might be a more alternative choice for the deck itself. In that case, it would actually change up the different playstyles, change up the different builds, and hopefully improve the deck in such a way where it transcends its current level. So with that being said, let's just begin here. So these were the 5 cards that we got rid of last time. They're cards that I'm certain of that I most likely won't be incorporating into the deck anymore, but it might change later on depending on how our new cards might adjust everything out. So these here are the cards that are potential candidates to actually be added onto the deck itself. So it is going to be quite interesting to see how things might go. Now, there are different ways to actually play this particular deck. There is 2 particular ways that I want to actually talk about. The first particular method of playing the deck is to go all out, and that is to simply play out every single card in your hand, play out all your resources, and get the best board that you could possibly achieve, either for OTKs or either for lockdown. Now, the second way to actually play in this particular manner would be to actually go for a safer play. So that means not going for all of your big combos, not going for your big plays, but instead allowing yourself to delay things just in case the worst case scenario might happen. And by doing the safer method, it is definitely a very nice and alternative method to actually allow the deck to go to another level, believe it or not. But at the same time, I do understand that it kind of does take away that small essence of World Chalice, being a deck that is meant to be able to play out a bunch of combos. So that's one thing I am definitely going to be trying to test out and seeing how things go. I got a recommendation that I should try out playing Baguska and seeing if that actually works in the deck or not. I will definitely be considering this card for sure, and seeing in the next video where I actually do some test hands whether or not it actually does work in the deck or not, and that would be quite fantastic. And by itself, it is technically also its own lockdown, just like Gameciel, just like Christia, so that would be fantastic for it. So with that being said here, we're going to add that there to the deck as well as part of our considerations. Next here we also have Lib. This was a card that I was also told to give a chance. Now, I did attempt to play this particular card in a test hand video that I once did for World Chalice. Not necessarily a test hand video, but more so an experimental test hand. And by doing that, I was able to come to the conclusion, I guess, that Lib just wasn't the card that was worth playing in the deck itself. But I've since begun to try and incorporate this card again. So with that being said, I'm going to be adding it in because we kind of have that extra space, you know. We did move 2 cards away from it, so we have a bit of flexibility to play around. As for all these other cards here, we have Metaltron, IP, we have here Triple Burst as well. Union Carrier has just been, well, banned, so that's too bad. Borrowload, not really. The Almaduke is also a viable option if I add in the Reincarnation. That kind of just gives us a really easy card to bring out. The only issue is this is more so a last resort. If you know you're going to be finishing off your opponent, you can then add this card with the Reincarnation in your deck and see if that actually works out for you for an OTK. But because you are banishing off your link monsters from the graveyard, it does actually pose quite a big risk in actually playing this particular card in the deck. However, with that being said, it is a World Chalice deck, well, a World Chalice card anyway, so I'm definitely going to give it a chance. So what else do we have? We have Daigusto Emerald. This card could actually allow us to also recycle cards, which is also nice. We have Mud Dragon. and Furious Dragon, more so just super poly targets, but Mud Dragon can also work as an instant fusion target as well. And since it's a level 4, you could actually help it to go into your Bagooska, which would be quite nice as a further extension. Of course, this could also apply for a lot of other things as well. So as I'm moving along here, I'm seeing Anima, I'm seeing Thousand Eyes Restrict, well, Millennium Eyes Restrict that is, and I'm also seeing the other rank 4s here as well, so that would be quite viable options, but of course for the time being number 41 is my option. And keep in mind we are still very limited with the extra deck itself only opening up really 2 spaces, so seeing how each of these work, I'm just going to add all of these into the extra deck and do the test and see how that actually works out for it. So that's essentially the same technique I use to actually decide what cards I need to build into the deck. So for all of these here, I'm going to incorporate them all in. I think the Utopia engine is definitely not the engine you want to add in. It takes up 3 slots here, so it's not good at all. But out of all of these other cards, I might try out the Triple Burst, and I might also consider playing the Daigusto Emerald, wherever it is. There we go. So I think that's definitely a great start. I also try the Metaltron as well, since there's 3 markers pointing down. But with that being said, I do like that I'll be adding in these cards, and you guys might see it being played out in the test end next video, so that would be nice. Here's for the main deck cards. I did say I wanted to actually incorporate a second copy of Pot of Avarice, which would be nice as well. This would also translate to adding in instant fusion to add on more additional plays. We also have here the Guard Dragon Reincarnation, obviously allowing you to go for your Almaduke, and we have Foolish Burial Goods just to get cards to the graveyard. We also have here a few other cards here like Struggle, which kind of is like a disruption card to deal with the opponent. It's like we have Sorrow, right? So that would be nice. Dragonet, maybe just to increase the ratios of the deck itself. And we even have Crowned as well, which I am considering putting in a second copy if we're going to be playing in a third copy of Dragonet. So as you can see here, we definitely have quite a few different options available. So I'm thinking in the testing of this, I'm obviously going to be putting in a bunch of cards that might exceed the deck limit, but it's all part of the testing. So I'm going to throw in an extra copy of Pot of Avarice for testing. I'm also going to throw in the Instant Fusion, the Reincarnation. I'll most likely skip out on these, but I'll throw in the extra copy of Dragonet, and I'll also throw in the extra copy of Crowned as well. And these particular cards are what I would consider to be viable options to adjust the ratios of the deck itself, and it'll definitely change up how the deck would actually be played. So here's the main deck itself. I am keeping them as is, of course, but there we go, I just mixed it in here. And I also have all of this as well, allowing me to mix it all into the deck itself. So this would pretty much be what I will be testing in the next video, because of the fact that we obviously won't have time to really go over it in this video, since a test stand could go for a very long time, particularly with World Chalice, of course. So yeah, I do hope you guys are actually excited about that, but this was pretty much more so my justification as to what cards I thought were appropriate would be added onto the deck itself to allow me to, I guess, test it out and see how things go. Now, if you guys are wondering why I didn't just consider adding in all these cards and doing the test, it's not a good decision. It's really not, because you're just clunking up the deck and it's just going to cause a lot of imbalance issues. I need to know exactly what I really wanted to add into the deck itself, and not just throw in random cards as I want. You still definitely got to strategize, you still got to play cards that are definitely viable for the deck itself. So these are what I actually have to work with, and it is definitely going to be very exciting there. So definitely leave me your thoughts. I really want to hear your guys' opinions on what you thought about the cards I added in. Do you want to see more cards being added into the deck itself? I might introduce them in the next video if I do actually manage to find some cards that are quite compatible with the World Chalice deck. But with that being said, that's really all there is to it as to what I'm considering to adding into this deck for the time being. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely drop a like, share this video, subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell notification. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you all next time.